Hi, Brad Donnelly with Einstein Real Estate Development. So another question that we get quite frequently is, do I have to move out on the day of closing? So this is kind of a more involved discussion because the short answer is yes, because that's what the contract says. The long answer is no. The more complex answer is no. So we have folks that we buy from that they're selling to us because they need the money to move into another place. So what we do a lot of the time, so let's say that we buy a house on the 1st of January and you, Mrs. or Mrs. Seller, need 2 weeks after post-closing, after the closing, to move into your new facility. We'll short-term lease that back to you. And I have to call it a short-term lease back because legally I own the house, but it's your home, but I own the house. So you would be a renter for 2 weeks, and that's upfront agreed upon at closing table. Stuff goes sideways as long as there's good communication. You just upfront about that. So to sum it up, so technically, and remember, it's a fine line here. There's a lot to unpackage. So if you need days, if you need the money and you need, a lot of people, let me stop it there. A lot of people ask, well, why don't I just close on January 15th if that's when I'm moving into my new place? Well, a lot of people need the money and to move into the new place, they need those funds, those proceeds from the sale of their home, but they need 2 weeks to move because moving's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do this for a living, and it's a lot on someone that doesn't do it for a living. It's a lot for me, and I do it for a living, but it's even more for someone that maybe's moved once or twice or 3 times in their life to move a whole entire house into a new house. It's stressful, and I don't like to stress, and so I don't want you to stress, because if you're stressing, that means I'm stressing, and then my wife's stressing, and then my kids are stressing, and then we're just all stressing, and I'm not stressing. So let me just clarify. If you need to sell your home on the 1st of the month and you need the proceeds and then you need to move into the two weeks to move, that comes out during the initial phase of meeting. I'm completely flexible on that. More than likely, I'm not going to begin working on your house for 2 weeks, so it's not a big deal. As far as what that cost entails, because there is, I have to pay, my money's not free, especially at 12% interest rates as they're getting up to. So just to let you know up front, that costs me money, and so there's no getting around it. We have to pass along, that cost to you somehow. And that's all agreed upon up front in writing before the closing. So you're secure, I'm secure. There's a legal and understandable exchange of paperwork still. And so to wrap it up, if you sign an agreement without a short-term lease back agreement, yes, you have to move out on the day of closing, because I get the keys and the deed and you get your money. But if you need and you request to do a short-term lease back or a longer lease back, that's completely understandable and agreeable. We just need to agree on those terms and pricing and the time. So hopefully that helps.